What's up everyone, it's me Pratima. So the OnePlus 11 is finally here. After its release in China last month, OnePlus is bringing its latest flagship phone to the global market. Now at the time of filming this video, I don't know the exact pricing of this phone, but it should start at around $799 in the US or some 60,000 rupees. Remember, this is not a Pro OnePlus 11 but just OnePlus 11. In fact, there's not going to be a OnePlus 11 Pro this time, according to OnePlus China's president. So compared to last year's OnePlus 10 Pro, I like the new pricing of the OnePlus 11. To bring the cost down, OnePlus has gotten rid of a few premium features like wireless charging, IP68 rating here, and really pushing for that one thing it's always been known for: flagship level performance at a sub-flagship price. I have been testing the OnePlus 11 for a couple of days now, and I have actually got so much to talk about it already. So let's get into all that right after this short unboxing experience. Okay, OnePlus 11 arrives in this signature red color box like always, and opening it up, we've got some paperwork, a SIM ejector tool, a bunch of OnePlus stickers, and no case, just like last year. Then there's the phone itself in this eternal green color option, more on that later, and we get a 100-watt Super VOOC charger and a USB-A to USB-C cable. Okay, starting with the looks, the design of the OnePlus 11 is kind of polarizing. I've seen a lot of people like its sort of unique look, and an equal number of people calling this circular camera ring ugly and unsettling. If you ask me, I know it's not the most visually attractive smartphone I've seen, but it's definitely not the worst thing in the world either. That said, I definitely would have preferred a matte touch instead of this glossy finish of this green color variant. Maybe OnePlus should have gone with a ceramic finish on both color options like they did with the OnePlus 10 Pro. I also found the phone to be a little bottom heavy, but that's something I got used to after a while. The phone feels quite comfortable to hold thanks to the gentle curves on both ends and its handy size, but I am just not sure what that uneven weight distribution means for jerry-rig everything's durability test. That would definitely be interesting to see. Making a comeback, however, is this alert slider, so it's great to see companies realizing a mistake has been done and rectifying it. Hopefully, companies will bring in the 3.5mm headphone jack as well. Nah, that's not coming. Over on the front, OnePlus 11's display is gorgeous. The default color calibration looks pleasing to my eyes with nice contrast and white balance. You can even switch to QHD resolution for sharper text and images, but on a 6.7 inch screen, I find that to be an overkill. So the full HD option should be more than adequate, and it's gonna play nice with the phone's battery life as well. Now, I've only had this phone for like a couple of days now, so it's too early for me to give a final verdict on the phone's battery life, but it has been giving me around 6 hours of screen on time under a fairly heavy usage pattern like playing games and testing the cameras, so things are looking good on the battery front. Anyway, you guys know that I'm not the biggest fan of curved displays, but the way OnePlus has so elegantly implemented it here deserves a special shout out. It has a really subtle curve that results in the least amount of accidental touches while also giving a premium look and feel. Just the best of both worlds. Now that reminds me, OnePlus continues to improve its haptic system, and the vibration motor on the OnePlus 11, it is apparently 67% larger than the one on the OnePlus 10 Pro. So yeah, I absolutely love how responsive it feels when interacting with this display. But there are a few aspects OnePlus has compromised here, the biggest of which has to be in terms of the brightness. Now, you may hear 1300 nits of peak brightness in most of OnePlus's marketing materials, but this screen's max brightness in practical usage is just 800 nits, which is not a whole lot for excellent outdoor visibility. That's actually less than what some mid-range phones in 2023 like the Redmi Note 12 Pro manage. And since OnePlus is using their older E4 luminescent material instead of E6, it is not as power efficient either. As for performance, here you will not get any compromises. From the flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip to the latest LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.0 storage, this thing has it all. So needless to say, it has more than enough processing power to drive your everyday tasks. You can get it with as much as 16 GB RAM, which is what I have. But if you're someone who does not keep multiple apps open at a time, the base 8 GB variant should be just fine. The Oxygen OS experience on the OnePlus 11 is also great despite all its similarities with Oppo's ColorOS. The phone feels comfortably fluid and snappy, including the animations and all. OnePlus 11 is also guaranteed to receive at least 4 major OS updates and 5 years of security updates, the highest ever for a OnePlus phone. Only Samsung has a similar update policy for its flagship and some premium mid-range devices, while most of the competition lags behind by a year each, including Google itself. Other than day-to-day tasks, the OnePlus 11 can handle the most demanding games too, just not as well as other Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 powered phones like the iQOO 11 that I recently reviewed. In all the games I've managed to test so far, the OnePlus 11 finished the warmer of the two by a couple of degrees at least, but this should not be a big problem since it pretty much matched iQOO's performance in terms of FPS and stability. What about the cameras then? Unlike its chief rivals, OnePlus has not used an insane 1-inch image sensor like Xiaomi and Vivo or a crazy high-res 200-megapixel camera like Samsung. Instead, the phone has quite a modest triple camera array consisting of a 50-megapixel primary, a 48-megapixel ultrawide, and a 32-megapixel telephoto lens, all complemented by 3rd-gen Hasselblad mobile imaging system. So I went for a brief photo walk with the OnePlus 11 in my pocket and I found its cameras to be decent enough. Of course, it's not as good as the S23 Ultra or the iPhone 14 Pro Max of the world. The optimization is nothing extra too, but these are not a bad set of cameras at all. The images are sharp, they're detailed and have good dynamic range. The only complaint I have is that the images have a distinctly warm tone in most cases, which may not complement the picture all too well. Other than that, as I said, they're quite okay. Same with the ultra-wide-angle shots, they have good colors, nice white balance, and good enough details. Its 2x telephoto shots are pretty great too. You can also take portrait shots from this lens, which OnePlus says mimics Hasselblad's XCD 65mm lens. It brightens up the subject most times, which looks good when you're shooting against the sun. I like the subject focus and blur from its cameras too. It's quite DSLR-like. Selfies also retain good skin tone and the exposure is maintained well. Similarly, I am also liking its low light shots. The photos look lively with a nice amount of details, contrast and highlight control. And what I also love is that how you don't necessarily need to switch to night mode for such results either. The usual photo mode takes care of those things perfectly. Okay, on the videography front, you can shoot at up to 8K 24 FPS, you can shoot at 4K at 30 and 60 FPS, and the quality of the videos, well, as you can see, it's really nice. The colors look very rich and vibrant and the dynamic range is nice as well. So from the rear cameras, I would say that content creators will not have issues with the cameras on the OnePlus 11. But from the selfie camera, you can only shoot at 1080p 30 FPS, which I think is a bummer for a semi-flagship phone like the OnePlus 11. Coming in 2023 with the rise of TikTok and YouTube charts and everything, I think semi-flagship phones ought to have a 4K selfie video recording feature. Alright, this was my early impressions, sort of mini review of the OnePlus 11. I will be testing it more and comparing it to different phones too, but my early verdict about the OnePlus 11 is this. Hear me out. The past couple of years have not been so good for OnePlus in the flagship segment, but I think it could finally turn around for them in 2023 with the new pricing strategy and not launching the Pro model. I guess they realized that their Pro models can't really keep up with the likes of the iPhone 14 Pro or the S23 Ultra, so they're coming back to their original roots with the OnePlus 11 by offering the best value per dollar, which in my opinion is 100% the right move. So everyone, that was it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari, and thank you so much for watching.